Well, good evening. I'm just blown away. I'm so grateful for all of you all being here to support not only me, but this is a support for our schools, for our students, for our teachers and our staff. In true teacher fashion, I did plan a speech, so I have it written. So I'm going to read from it, but I just want to thank you guys for being here tonight. Your support means more than you know. I want to start with a moment. I've shared this with I've shared this with quite a few speaking groups that I've spoken with, but it's a moment that has really stayed with me, so I wanted to share it with you tonight, and it kind of shapes up my why as to why I serve on the school board and why I'm running for re-election. I was visiting one of our elementary schools, walking through classrooms and talking with students, and a little girl came right up to me and said, "When I grow up, I want to be a teacher." And she said it with so much confidence and so much joy. And I got down and I asked her why, and she said, because teachers, they help people become who they're supposed to be. And that moment has really stayed with me because it reminds me of our responsibility to protect that dream. To build a school system where that little girl doesn't just hope she can become that teacher, but she truly has that opportunity. As someone who stood in the classroom before ever sitting on the school board, that responsibility is really personal to me. And today, I still carry it, just at a different table. Since 2018, we've made real progress in Pasco County schools. We've strengthened student achievement and expanded opportunities like Cambridge, dual enrollment, and career pathways, so students graduate with options and purpose. And I've seen the growth firsthand at Hudson High, as I'm a Hudson High alumni. When I was a student, Cambridge didn't exist, but today it is thriving. And in 2022, Hudson High School just had 3 students that we enrolled in their Cambridge program that got their diploma. And in 2025, that number grew to 85. Today, there's even a small waiting list to get into that program. And I always tell this story because I went to Hudson, Jeremy went to River Ridge. And when you would tell people when you were growing up, hey, what school do you go to? I go to Hudson, they're like, ew. And I hated that because I loved my school. And so to see us as a school district transform that area has been a dream come true for me, and I'm so, so proud of that. This coming year, we're working on to enroll at least 150 ninth graders in that program. So it's really, really cool. That's what opportunity looks like, and that's what belief in students can do. We've also created real pathways for students beyond graduation. Through our partnerships with Advent Health, students are now able to begin healthcare pathways as early as 9th grade. They can gain hands-on experience in areas like EKG, phlebotomy, EMT training, and more. They can earn industry-recognized certifications and even participate in paid apprenticeships while still in high school. That means students aren't just graduating with diplomas, they're graduating with skills, with credentials, and a clear path forward. We've supported initiatives like Project Rise, and this is something that I am incredibly proud of. If you've ever talked to me about Project Rise, you know that I talk about it a lot. Because at its core, Project Rise is about meeting students where they are, starting with their most basic needs. We know that a child cannot focus on reading, math, or science if they're hungry. They cannot concentrate if they're worried about where their next meal is going to come from, if they don't have clean clothes, or if they're dealing with challenges at home that no child should have to carry alone. The Hudson Area Complex is one of those areas that Project Rise has helped. It has a community clinic where there are clothing closets so students have what they need to walk in with confidence, food pantries so families don't have to choose between groceries and other necessities, access to some medical services so students can receive care they might not otherwise have. We also offer dental and mental health supports, so we're not only just addressing academics, but we're addressing the emotional well-being of our students. But what makes this work so powerful is that it doesn't just serve the child, it serves the family. When we support families, we know that we create stability, and when we create stability, students are able to learn, grow, and succeed. I believe that we have the best of the best of the best teachers and staff working in our schools. We've worked really hard to support our teachers, and not just with words, but with action, securing an average of 4.5% average salary increases and improving retention so we can keep great teachers in our classrooms. While they deserve so much more, this is a step in the right direction. We've strengthened our school safety measures, strengthened mental health supports, and we've improved learning environments so students can focus and thrive. We've taken real steps to improve the physical learning environment inside of our schools. And I can speak to this because I taught at Fox Hollow Elementary School where we had the open pods. So you have an open pod and then you had a classroom here, classroom here, classroom here, classroom here. And the walls to that middle pod were like accordion doors. And so if you had a student that eloped or was having a tough day and they decided they were going to run to the middle of the pod, now you are now having one foot in the middle of the pod while you're also teaching the other students that are in your classroom. So one example to help with that is we have created classroom pod walls to alleviate that. For years, like I mentioned, many of our classrooms had open pod designs that made it difficult to control the noise, to maintain focus, and to create a safe, structured environment for learning. We've now installed hundreds of those permanent walls across our district, and while that may seem simple, it has made a real difference. Teachers can now teach without constant distractions, students can concentrate, and classrooms feel safer and more secure. It is one of those changes that directly impacts the teaching and learning every single day. We've strengthened early learning, we've improved curriculum, expanded student supports, and increased access to real-time data so teachers can meet students where they are. Our school grades have improved with one of our D schools improving to a B school, which is awesome. We've also worked hard to build trust through transparency. We've live streamed meetings and board workshops, and I have worked so hard to be present in our schools and our community. I do this by volunteering. I volunteer sub because I never want to forget what it's like to be in the classroom, talking with our teachers, our staff, and our admin, supporting school events, and going to as many community events as I possibly can. And one area that I've been especially passionate about is safer walkways to school. If you ever watch a board meeting, you're going to hear me talk about behavior, transportation, and safer walkways to school. A few years ago, we had to follow state law when it came to transportation, which meant students living within 2 miles of their school were not eligible for the bus service anymore. The challenge was that many of those students did not have safe walkways to school. With the support of my fellow board members and strong partnerships with our county leaders, we made it a priority to change that. I want to give a big shout out to our county commissioners. I think he's still in the room, especially Commissioner Seth Waitman, who we now call Sidewalk Seth. He has been a tremendous champion of this, and I just thank you so much. To date, we've completed 3.69 miles of sidewalks, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it's a lot when you're having to advocate for it. And we currently have over 15 miles more in progress, so we're making a real dent. And I'm going to tell you, I've learned a lot through this process about sidewalks. I've learned that they are not cheap. They charge the government double to build them. Funding is not always easy to secure, and even when something seems like common sense, like student safety, it can take time, persistence, and partnership to make it happen. Blood, sweat, and tears have been had throughout that entire process. But we stayed focused, we worked together, and we're continuing to push forward because every child deserves a safe pathway to school. As our nation approaches America's 250th anniversary, woohoo! I've been proud to lead a civics initiative focused on strengthening civic literacy and ensuring that our students have a voice across our district. When I learned that only 51% of our students have passed the Florida Civics Literacy Exam, I knew that we had to do better. And as I spent time talking with students, it became clear that many did not fully understand the importance of that exam, especially since it's not tied to a graduation requirement. And that realization really helped me shape this initiative. As a part of this work, we're recognizing and celebrating student achievement in meaningful ways. Students who pass the exam will earn a red, white, and blue graduation tassel. And if you know students, especially our seniors that are getting their diploma, they love their swag. So that's going to be a good thing. A symbol of their commitment to civic understanding. In addition, students that are interested in pursuing public service will have the opportunity to apply for a $15,000 scholarship through Florida Prepaid with one student selected each year. And I'm super excited because I get to go, I think it's next week, to present that scholarship. So for this year's student. I can't tell you who it is yet, it's a secret. We've also been incredibly fortunate to have the support of our local leaders, including our Supervisor of Elections, Brian Corley, and our tax collector, Mike Fasano, who have both been strong advocates for civic education and student engagement. Their partnership has helped us connect students to real-world experiences and reinforce the importance of active citizenship. This initiative is more about than preparing our students for a test. It's about preparing them for life as informed and engaged citizens. We're working to deepen students' understanding of our Constitution, our government, and the responsibilities that come with citizenship. By promoting the value of Florida civics, celebrating student success, and creating more opportunities for meaningful discussion and engagement, we're helping students see the importance of their role and that their voice does matter. I've also spearheaded an initiative to bring student leaders directly to our school board meetings to share their experiences, perspectives, and their ideas with us. This is one of the most meaningful ways to put that civics in action. Instead of just learning about government in a textbook, students are now participating in it. They're speaking, engaging, and helping inform decisions that impact their schools and their peers. I believe that this is what real civic engagement looks like, and it's something that I'm incredibly proud that I have helped lead. But while I'm proud of all that we've accomplished, I'm even more focused on what comes next. Moving forward, I will continue to ensure careful budget oversight so every dollar is prioritized for the classroom. I will continue to strengthen our learning environments by advocating for competitive pay and supporting the recruitment and retention of high-quality teachers. I will continue to elevate civics education so our students are prepared to not just graduate, but to lead, serve, and participate in their communities. And I will continue to expand career and vocational pathways, working with local and state partners to create meaningful, real-world opportunities for our students. I will continue to collaborate across our county and state to deliver state routes to school while building partnerships that strengthen our community and advocating for help with transportation and funding. And I will continue to show up for our teachers, for our staff, for our students, for our schools, and our community by being in the trenches with those who are with them daily. How can I make good policy or vote with our students' best interests in mind if I'm not talking to them, interacting with them, and spending time in our schools? To me, leadership isn't about just checking boxes. It's about showing up. It's about listening, and it's about doing the work. At my core, I'm still a teacher. And whether I'm in the classroom or at the board table, my mission is the same: to protect opportunity, to support our families, and to make sure every child in Pasco County is college, career, and life ready, to ensure that they're getting that world-class education that they deserve. And that little girl I mentioned before, that little girl's dream, it really matters. And so does every single student sitting in our classrooms today. I would be honored to continue this work with all of you. So I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for your support. Thank you for believing in our schools and our students, our teachers, and our future. And remember, on August 18th, let's keep a teacher on the school board. Thank you.